big sports day here in Atlanta on Wednesday, November the 1st. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
All Souls Day.
All Souls Day, that's right. We're here with three guys who love sports. My name's Chuck Burge. Co-hosting with my good buddy, Robert Kenny. Robert, how are you?
I'm living the dream. Yourself, sir?
I'm getting there.
There you go.
It's somewhere between a nightmare and a dream now, but it's getting better.
Which both are both classified as dreams, so you're still right in that wheelhouse.
I'm in the wheelhouse. All right, good deal. As always, happy to be here at Miller's. Miller's provides us the location for the three guys who love sports, and also at 7 o'clock, the Owls who live sports. We're going to be entertaining two more offensive or defensive linemen tonight.
Two more offensive linemen.
Two more offensive linemen coming in, so we're going to find out what's going on as we torched Union on Saturday, or Lincoln. Was it Lincoln, right? Lincoln University. And then we have...
They have no Union in Lincoln. They don't even have a stadium.
Then we have... That's true. And then we have Sam Houston this weekend as we travel to Big Texas.
When you take out a team that has no stadium and then you play a guy that's been dead for almost 200 years, I mean, it's pretty hard. It's a pretty hardcore month for us. I'm liking our chances.
Yeah. So those of you that know about our show, you know we're here to support men that are going through mental and physical struggles, and we want to help take their mind off what they're going through for an hour every week. And if we help somebody for an hour and you help somebody for an hour, we are the world, we are the children. So this makes this world a better place.
I thought you were going.
They should make a song of that.
Yeah, that sounds.
I bet that song could be huge if they made it.
Man, if
you got to get the right people, though.
If we could, we'd have to have a lot of people.
A lot of stars.
A lot of stars.
Where's Quincy Jones to bring this all together?
Oh, I love Quincy Jones. Speaking of stars, we got our good buddy Rick Limpert back with us today. Rick, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. And you said it's a big day for sports. In Atlanta, when isn't it a big day for sports?
Well,
so maybe one day a year?
Maybe one day a year, yeah. But even bigger than normal. I think this is a pretty incredible week, what's been going on. Before we move on, Robert, you're just getting dessert today here at Miller's?
I am. I ate a late lunch. Uncle Bob and Aunt Marinella came into town today. Thank you very much for buying me some food. And late lunch, just can't imagine trying to polish off a thing of fajitas or anything like that.
You're waiting to eat some wings with the offensive linemen.
I'm going to challenge them.
But the fajitas are good.
Hey, beef boy. Oh, the freaking fajitas are
Fajitas
unbelievable.
are good here?
Oh, awesome.
I've never had them.
Yeah. I got the cilantro lime chicken, but I'm just getting the chicken with a big old baked potato. They have great baked potatoes here, so...
That you bring up a good point, though. Maybe one of these times when these offensive linemen show up, we should just start on them like immediately. Be like, you suck. You can't out eat us. You can't, and we won't let them know that there's a contest.
You should each have a plate of wings in front of you. Let them arrive and let them just eye those wings. They'd be drooling. It'd be like the dog looking at the tree.
I don't want them to throw me through a wall.
Faster than you can. I can clean them off better than anybody I know.
But that might be a fight, and I don't want to fight either offensive lineman because I have wings and they don't.
Especially if they just beat Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Whether it be a union or not.
And this week, Sam Houston will get the SHI beat out of them, so that's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
The
Shy. No, that's Chicago, right? Oh, different Shy.
That's a different Shy.
I heard football's pretty big there in Texas.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the bits and pieces of the weekend. As we mentioned before we went on air, Game 5 of the World Series tonight. Texas has not lost on the road. They're 10-0 on the road. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
10-0 on the road. Do they want to go for the record at 11-0 on the road or beat their own record, or they want to win this game at home in front of their fans?
Well, you know what I said earlier about, they'd like to win it at home. That was all crap because, obviously the players just want to win. The Braves were up 3-1 in the same position to play the Dodgers a few years ago, and you just want to win because anything can happen if you lose.
They would have taken any of the remaining 3 games.
You got that right.
Yeah.
So a couple stats on the Rangers side. Their manager was not too shabby, Bruce Bochy. This would be his 4th World Series win in 13 years if they win.
That's pretty strong.
Pretty strong.
And I'm not sure, but I believe 4-0.
Yeah.
The
guy does not lose.
At this point in time, you throw out an Astros manager and it's like, well, they've been to 6 of them here in the last whatever. This guy only he wins every time he shows up.
Who was it that I heard is probably going to be the Astros manager? Oh, Ron Washington, third base coach with the Braves.
That would scare me to no business because I think Ron Washington is the best coach on the Braves, and I've been asking for him to have the main job for a long time. So
I think his best role is as a coach, though.
He is a
Yeah,
great
he's been a head
infield
coach before, hasn't he?
He really, his strength, I
He was
think, is
for the Rangers.
His
For the
strength
manager,
is working with the players, is being on the field, being really involved. When you're a manager, you got the media obligations and other things that would take him away from, I think, what his strengths are.
And
Yeah.
he is getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is a pretty prestigious position to take over with a lot of talent on that team. So that might be the swaying stat to get Ron to go to Houston.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how that'll work. Houston
He's been a manager before.
for the Rangers.
Yeah, for the Rangers. So my vote, it's over tonight. Rick, how about you?
I think so too. And the other stat I had was in over 100 World Series, is only 6 times has a team come back from being down 3-1. So
Yeah.
whether it's over tonight or the next night, it looks like it's
it's
the
probably
Rangers.
over.
Regardless, nobody's watching. Have you seen that?
Ratings have been awful.
The worst ratings ever for a World Series. Well, we talked about that when we found out who was going to be in it. So-
Absolutely. And,
Well, with the exception of last night, they've had football against them every game.
which is another problem for baseball. One of these things, there was a when Derek Jeter was the first person who ever was dubbed Mr. November. And there was like a couple, like I think there was a hurricane last week of the regular season, and then everything just kept going. And this isn't where baseball needs to be. Baseball needs to, maybe
It's the October Classic.
maybe start a little earlier if you got to start back in the first last week of March or something. But you got to get this off before you're going head to head, and then actually use a thought process where you go, okay, let's not play Thursday nights, Monday nights, or Sunday nights. Let's not go head to head.
No, they're smart on that end.
Well, but have they been? Because there's been a lot
I
of
don't
games
think
on.
with this series it doesn't matter.
It might not matter, but you're still.
But
not
in the
helping
longevity
yourself.
of a season,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But they wanted it to go this late, hoping that drama would be created, and maybe it hasn't worked out that way. There's been a lot of blowouts.
MLB does not do it right. NFL does it right. And I think everybody's aware of that. That's the biggest machine going.
So tell me this. If you remember that first game where the Rangers, Seager hit that bomb in the 9th inning to tie it up, and it scared the crap out of me because I was at Game 6 in the NLCS when he did it to the Braves in the same exact stadium a few years ago. If that doesn't happen, Diamondbacks win Game 1. They win Game 2 9-1. Is this a whole new series had that bomb never happened, or is that just reading too much into everything else?
I think it's too much of woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, it is what it is. And
At this point, it is.
You're right. I play that game probably more than anybody. But that's my opinion. That I think Texas is a stronger team. I think Arizona's young and will be around for a long time. But I think
I agree with both those.
I think Texas is the team this year.
Yeah, no
All right.
argument. No
All
argument.
right, so moving on to the NBA kicking off this week. We have our Hawks that are 2-2. That's about where they belong all year, isn't it? At 500.
No, this is a dominating team. These guys have now played with each other for a year, and they're going to be better than they were last year.
So how many wins you see for the Hawks? 43.
It was probably not a huge number. It's probably 48. It's probably somewhere in that range, 48, 49.
So they'll give them a 4 or 5 seed, something like that.
Something in there, but just like we're talking about with the Diamondbacks, and if you'd like to take it back to the Atlanta Braves, it's all about getting hot at the right time. You don't want this team to go on an 11-run game-winning streak right now. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice, but at the same time, need that in May.
Well, I know they lost their first 2 games, and then they were 1-2, and I guess they were playing the Wolves Monday night. And I saw the score somewhere. They were 21 down at half. They'd given up 79 points in the first half, and they turned it around 35 points, winning by 14.
Absolutely.
So DeJounte Murray hit like 11 in a row and got really hot, and I think 22 in the third period.
It's the NBA. It's the craziest sport there is.
What is the NBA all about? Who win? What makes you win?
Scoring.
Well, superstars.
Superstars.
Your team has to have super. How many superstars would you say are on the Hawks?
2.
Zero.
Yeah.
0.
2.
Trae Young.
Dominique retired 20 years ago.
Lord have mercy. Hey, just because you were coughing.
That was not a cough. That was a
Hey,
premeditated yawn.
We've got a Batman, and we got a Robin, and
Is
you might not.
DeJounte Murray your Robin?
Yes, and whether or not you'd like to give Robin full credit for being a superhero or not, that's up for discussion. But I think these guys are really good. Does it benefit us that both of our stars are about that tall? No, it's a very tall man's sport. I wish one of our 2 studs was 6'11", but he's not, and we'll just have to see what happens.
I saw that Trae Young got put on the injury report today from some kind of Achilles issue.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if he's playing tonight or not. But,
I do not know either.
yeah, read that somewhere. So, basketball is underway. 4 games down means we've got 78 to go. They play 82
more.
games. So
Almost there.
beginning tonight, so they'll go to 3-2 or 2-3. And I can't even remember who they play tonight.
So let me ask you guys this, since we're kind of laughing a little bit with basketball and hockey, are there too many games?
I think there's too many games in every sport except football.
It's early in the year, so I don't know if there's not too many games is the problem. There's other things that take your interest away from the NBA, which is still 7 months out from playoffs almost.
If you played a 62-game schedule and you started in late November, so that it wasn't even interesting until the day after the Super Bowl, would that be better?
It would be better, but they would lose. It's what it's all about.
It's all about the money. I know.
Yeah, you know what it's all.
Yeah,
They don't care if an eyeball's watching right now or not.
Yeah, they're going to keep
They
adding
don't.
games.
Yeah, I don't remember in the olden days them waiting 3 or 4 games, 3 or 4 days to play another game, or 4 or 5 days. It seemed like they played back-to-back games almost all the time, and they'd take a day off and they'd play a game, and the season seemed a lot shorter. And they say, oh, well, these guys need their rest and all that stuff. Bull crap. These guys are professional athletes. If they can't play basketball for 48 minutes a day, every other day or whatever,
They're certainly being paid enough.
They are. Their compensation is definitely not in question. At the end of the day, I just it's tough on the LeBrons of the world when you play into June every year.
But who goes out? Anytime he's able to play, who goes out there and plays? LeBron.
Absolutely.
Kobe. How many games did Kobe miss when he wasn't legitimately injured?
Very few.
Jordan.
Very few.
I mean, those guys played.
The cream rises to the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct, but it's one of those things where people look at it and it's like, if you're on a bad Hawks team, off season starts May 1st. Woohoo!
And there's been some bad Hawks teams.
And there's been many Hawks players who always had long summers. That's just not the case for the studs, and it does wear on you.
And now you got an Olympic year, so they're going to be playing in July as well. So, it's there's a lot of basketball to be played this year.
The bums are going to be playing in July. LeBron is not playing in July.
I'm still just dying to see how LeBron picks where his son gets drafted,
or if he gets drafted with his heart condition. Speaking of heart conditions, don't give me one. We need to get onto a commercial. Alvin Jameson.
I was waiting to see how that one flowed, but.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. 9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
Not too crazy.
All right. Thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports.
We're going to have him back on to
Yeah,
talk
we need to get
basketball.
Big Al on here with the NBA starting. Here we Robert and our good friend Rick Limpert as we move into our college football segment. And Oklahoma, where the wins don't come as easy as they used to.
What did I say?
goes
What did
down.
I say last week? What did I say last week?
How
What did
long
you
have I
say?
been touting Kansas?
I
2 years
said
now.
I said that Oklahoma was the biggest fraud in the country, and I was right.
You did, but in fairness, you do use a different number one fraud of the week every week. So
Who's the fraud of the week this week?
Well, we'll get to that, but you were correct last week. That's the main thing.
And
That's the main
Kansas didn't have their starting quarterback either. They the backup guy, and he played pretty well.
thing.
Pete, was that his name? Jason Pete?
I don't know. I was at the KSU game.
Yeah. But Kansas, there was the most fun game of the weekend to watch. It really was an entertaining football game to watch.
It was outside of the 2 hours where everybody had to leave the field and wait for the lightning
For
storm.
the Lightning, yeah.
But no, it was a very interesting game because Kansas started out early and often, and then once Oklahoma got rolling, you're like, okay, yeah, been watching this game for 30 years, and then Kansas came back.
How long before
Nice
that
game.
Kansas coach gets picked up by a bigger
Oh,
school?
Not long,
I hate it.
man,
I hate
not
it. I
long.
hate it. But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But he's a great coach, Lance Leipold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a good job there at Kansas. But again, that's like the bad part of becoming a good coach. You're going to go someplace else, and Kansas will be back where they were before. Not happy about that. Not happy about that.
But it does happen.
Often, way too often. And let's talk about my Jekyll and Hyde Jackets.
Love them.
What a great game that was. And I didn't watch it. And I got so many texts Saturday night. How about those Jackets? How about those Jackets? I said, oh, God, I didn't watch it. So I found a replay on ACC Network and watched it the next day.
Let me ask you this question. You didn't watch the Miami game either.
No.
Don't
so,
watch.
So thank you.
That's
Thank
the-
you, Rick,
Please
for
don't
pointing-
watch the Georgia game. Please don't watch the Georgia
I
game.
don't know if that one
I'm
matters.
I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. I love watching Tech, do something. I am a hybrid. I've been a Tech and Georgia fan since I was 7 years old, and watching the post game interview when the coach walks up with his hat on backwards, he's just sitting there talking.
Well, have you seen the trends about Georgia Tech?
No.
So Georgia Tech has scored 254 points this year.
Okay.
They have given up 254 points this year.
That's not easy.
Georgia
to
Tech
do.
has scored 33 touchdowns this year. They have given up 33 touchdowns this year.
Doesn't
so you talk
surprise
about
me.
a 500 team. It's a 500 team. But
literally in every way, shape, and form.
But they have not lost 2 games in a row. They have not won 2
No,
games
they've
in a row.
turned a little corner, I think.
Yeah, they've
So-
won every even number game. So if that trend continues, they'll lose to Virginia. They'll beat Syracuse. No, they'll beat Clemson. They'll lose to Syracuse, and they'll beat Georgia, which would tickle me to death. But I don't see this trend continuing.
Somebody's been playing that one out. Win, lose. Yes, we're going to beat Georgia.
Somebody was a great article today. I can't remember where it was, but that's where I read that. But the King looks like a good quarterback. I got a buddy that went to Tech, loves Tech, but he hadn't watched the game all year, and he's the one that texted me at 11:30 on Saturday night. That was the most fun game I've watched in forever. These guys are good. I said, they are pretty good, but they lose to Boston College. They lose to BGCU.
Was anybody
They
worried
do.
that Mac Brown was on cardiac arrest alert after that game? No.
I thought he was going to do that when he was in Texas. So, add 12 years to that. Yeah, I'm right there. How about this? What do North Carolina, Miami, Boston College, Duke, NC State, Clemson, Pittsburgh, Virginia, Wake Forest, and Syracuse all have in common?
They're below Georgia Tech.
You got that right.
They're below
And if-
Georgia
and-
Tech in
and
the
if you
ACC
told me-
standings.
If you'd have told anybody that Clemson and now, albeit that we didn't know Duke was going to have a good team, but if you just said Miami and Carolina and Clemson and Duke, they're all below Tech. What are you talking about? I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Yep.
4th place in the ACC.
4th place in the ACC. They're not going to make it to the championship
No.
game. More than likely
And that's
Louisville and
good.
FSU.
We don't need to see them play FSU.
But I do want to see them go to a bowl game. So I'd like to see them win 2 of their last 4 games.
They'll put on an exciting,
Preferably the Georgia game.
Duke Mayo Bowl, or it'll be
The Mayo
exciting.
Bowl, yeah.
So what do we got? We got at Virginia. Virginia is a garbage fire, correct?
They are terrible.
Well, but they beat North Carolina the week before us.
And it's one of our biggest rivals.
Georgia Tech struggles in Charlottesville.
They do.
Always have,
I
always
remember
have.
like a triple overtime game, which
And
was one of
then
the greatest football games ever.
And then you got at Clemson, never going to be easy. At Clemson, you
But
got
if
that
you're going to
Georgia
get them
game.
one year, this is the year to do it.
Correct, but I'm just saying to get that sixth win and to do it, you're going to have to beat Virginia and Syracuse because outside of those two, it's going into Death
Well,
Valley.
they're
or beating-
underdogs to Virginia. Virginia's like 2.5-point favorites
Are
last
they
time I
really?
saw. Yeah. Yeah. Check that, but I think that's where it was last time I saw it. Virginia minus 2.5.
That's crazy. Virginia's 1-3 in the conference, 2-6 overall.
Somebody go to ESPN or somebody, Adam, see what that, go to the scores on ESPN for this coming week, and they'll give you the spread. But I think last time I saw Virginia was a 2.5-point favorite over Tech, which I don't quite get. But again, Virginia's
good
pretty good at home.
motivation.
They beat a couple of good teams.
Yeah.
But they are a garbage fire. They haven't played well. But
UVA is a 2-point favorite. over
2-point
Georgia.
favorite
But
over
you know,
Tech.
you go back and once again, I know history makes no difference, but these damn Cavaliers have bit us in the butt many times. Where Tech is looking to go to the ACC champion. No, that trip to Charlottesville, that 41-38 game still makes me cry at night. It happened 25 years ago. It's still twitch occasionally.
Yeah. But
I think that Twitch is because of something else. But
It probably is.
well, God bless the Jackets. I'd love to see them go bowling. I'd like to see them win a couple of these last 4 games.
Please.
they're going bowling.
Yeah, hope so. All right, we mentioned Clemson. How about Dabo's ran on a caller? I thought that was pretty cool. I wish we'd get a caller in here like that.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it at
I
all?
didn't hear
He's losing his mind a little bit.
Oh, Dabo?
I
He's
understand it.
Have you heard it at all?
I know I haven't.
Okay, so the guy basically said, why are we paying you an $11.5 million a year to coach a 4-4 team?
And I understand
and
that.
Dabo went off. He said, well, I'll tell you what, you apply for this job anytime you want it. He said, we've won more than 10 games, 10 of the last 12 years. If you want this job, you come get it. I'll be happy to see you apply for it.
But it's like anything else. You think your life is going really good, then you see that guy at the bus station, and you think, man, what did that guy do wrong that put him in this position where I'm in this great position, exalted position, and he's not? Look at Dabo. You go back 7 years. 7 years ago, this guy had two natties. He's the heir apparent at Alabama. He just has to name his number and everything else. Now he's fielding calls going, why are we paying you so much money? I mean, I can understand the angst in his
Is that what
voice.
that caller sounded like?
Oh, absolutely. Down there in the low country.
And he told him what a piece of crap he was.
But
he said, you see, you call whenever you want, but I'll tell you what, it's people like you that hold our program back. He was all over this guy.
Yeah. And that's what he said?
Yeah.
People like you hold this program back?
He said, people like you are the problem. You have higher expectations.
And that
We've
tells
won
you
2 natties in 7 years.
That tells you everything you need to know. The bugs are under Dabo's skin. He
Oh,
doesn't know
please,
what
if-
he
if-
doesn't know what to do at this
If
point.
Clemson fires Dabo, I will be more than happy to take Dabo at Purdue.
And everybody,
Dabo will not be fired
He's
from
not going
Clemson.
to get fired.
No, he won't get fired from Clemson.
He's got pictures of people there. So.
All right.
at some point in time, though, if Dabo, are people offering stuff to him? If Captain Khaki says he's going to leave for the NFL again at the end of this year, I mean, does Ann Arbor say,
No,
hey,
he's
Dabo?
he's not an Ann Arbor guy.
No,
He's not an Alabama guy. He's never going to go to Alabama, right? He's too
I
smart
wouldn't be
for that.
surprised.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
We'll
see.
see. There's still time.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Alabama, they came out number 8, I think, in the
That's
in
correct.
the CF people in the BCS Bowl or whatever it is poll last night.
CFP.
We got 6 teams. Are you happy with where the 6 are?
I mean, I'd like, yes.
Does it matter right now?
It does not.
I'd like to get the cheaters out of the top 4, but
But it matters in the long run. But
A lot of football to be
there's
played.
a lot of football to be played.
And you
Well,
know
there's-
those last 2 weeks seem sometimes it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
Tons of it. And, we just lost one of the teams this week.
Oklahoma.
Does
that put the Big 12 out? I think the Big 12's out.
Yeah, they're
now.
out, probably
I
now.
think they're
well,
out.
Texas is still number 7.
Texas would have to go on a big run.
But if Bama and Texas keep winning, every time Bama wins another game, makes that other win that Texas went to Tuscaloosa for. So I think Adam's right. I think there's a chance that that they could still get in there. But
I don't think a one-loss Big 12 team's going to get over an undefeated.
nobody.
Pac-12
No,
or
no,
anybody
no.
team yet.
Absolutely. But there's only one undefeated Pac team now, and they're looking rough. As
They
of
have
late.
looked rough. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you watched the Oregon-Utah game, but Oregon throttled Utah.
Yeah, we were
They
talking.
throttled Utah.
Air Force is lurking.
Yeah, Air Force
Yes.
is looking. Air Force is a good team.
Air Force in Tulane.
You don't want to play Air Force if you're a team in a bowl game, I think.
No. No, actually, the thing about that is, though, it's kind of like the old Tech games. Whenever you get 4 weeks to schedule or prepare for them, that's not going to work
But
out well
if you're a Power 5 team that has some NFL talent going to a bowl game,
absolutely.
that NFL talent is going to skip the bowl game. And how many Air Force cadets are allowed to skip the bowl game?
We've seen what
Nada.
happens.
Nada.
We've seen what happens when teams skip bowl games against Hawaii and against this team. There you go.
And I did hear that our friend Luke Sudel got hurt and is no longer on the Air Force Falcons team.
I did not know that.
Yep, so that's disappointing. I talked to his mom. Let's go back to the polls just a minute. If you had to put your team at number 6, who's number 6, Robert?
I'd probably go Bama.
Bama at 6. Okay.
I like Oregon at 6.
I like Oregon at 6.
You
too.
like Oregon at 6? I like Washington at 6. And I know Washington beat Oregon, but the eye test to me is just much stronger than that. That was in Seattle. Great football game. Either team could have won it. We'll learn a lot this weekend when Washington plays USC. Is Caleb going to bounce back and score a lot of points against that Washington defense? So we'll see. So I got Washington at 6, and I'll go ahead and say I got Oregon at 5. I think Oregon is one step away from being in the Final Four.
Chuck's the kind of guy who he hates. How could you put them ahead of them? They beat them head to head.
Yeah, and I have a lot of respect for head-to-head. Like, I believe
Sure.
Texas should be ahead of Alabama. No doubt in my mind about that, just because of what they did in Tuscaloosa. But Oregon just did the same thing to Utah. Utah doesn't lose there. I think they'd won 19 straight or something like that.
That was a good win.
And it
That
wasn't
was a
just
good
a
win.
win. They beat the crap out of them. They
did.
did, what, 42-7 or something like that?
It was rough.
It was rough. So, for my money, Oregon's the best team I've seen play this year. So
I agree with that.
yeah, so I think they're one step away from making. If they run the table,
35-6 was that score.
35-6.
Nobody goes to Utah and does that.
yeah,
Agreed.
and they didn't score a touchdown. They got 2 field goals,
That's
right?
correct.
So if they run the table, I don't see how you keep them out of the Final Four. Utah, I mean,
The best team I've seen play this year is the defensive unit of the Georgia Bulldogs again. I mean, they are.
I think Ohio State's defense is right up there with them.
If you watch the subtleties of the Georgia defense,
Getting better every week.
Very impressive.
Okay,
better
so I've
every
got Oregon at 5. Robert, who do you have?
I got to have Washington at 5.
got Washington at 5,
I
too.
can't have Oregon there. Washington's undefeated. They get that spot.
AT,
I have Florida State at 5.
okay. At number
Lord
4,
have mercy.
at number 4, I have the Buckeyes.
That makes sense to me. I understand Ohio State choked that second half against Georgia in the last Final Four, but they do have the 2 best wins that
At
all
Notre
these
Dame
teams have
and
currently
against Penn State.
And Penn State.
Yeah.
That being said, they don't look impressive in any of these. They're winning the games,
Yeah,
and that's impressive, but they don't look impressive.
A lot of
I'd say number 4 as well.
Yeah, a lot of it for me is eye test and watching them play.
Yeah, Michigan hasn't beat anybody, but boy, do
But they beat the
they
slop out of every
Exactly,
play.
exactly.
So number 4 for you, Rick.
It's got to be Ohio State. I
Okay.
think. And of course, their season will come down to one game.
Yeah.
So,
ATI,
I got Washington at 4.
Washington at 4. Okay, at 3, I actually have Georgia. Now, I know going forward they have the 6th toughest schedule in the country. They got Missouri, Ole Miss, and
Georgia Tech.
somebody else. No,
Tennessee and Georgia.
Yeah.
At
So if
Tennessee.
they get by those 3 games, I'd got to move them up. But from what I've seen, I didn't watch much of the Florida game because it's not the same thing. So I can't give a true eye test on Georgia because I prefer not to watch them throw up and have to clean my carpet. So I don't like watching Georgia. But
Well, at least you know now at
Yeah,
home
yeah.
why.
at least that
it
paints
goes
a
the way it
picture at a
goes.
restaurant
Yeah.
there.
so number 3 for you, Rick,
Florida State.
FSU. Robert?
I'm going FSU as well. I don't, out of all these different teams that, man, this could happen, that could happen, I think they're in. I think this team is going undefeated.
yeah,
and
no
they're-
one's gonna beat
they're,
them, I
They're
don't
going to
think.
punch their ticket. Now, that being said, they'll probably get shellacked this weekend because I said it, but I think this team is in the final.
Did you say Florida State or Michigan?
I said Florida State.
Okay.
So who you have at 3, Adam?
I have Ohio State at 3.
Okay. And number 2, I have the Seminoles. For everything that Robert just said, they've got a pretty clear path to where they play Charlotte, and where they'll play Louisville more than likely, and they look offensively a lot better than Louisville. And I saw Louisville play in person against Tech. Travis is a good quarterback. I think Mike Norvell's come down there, and he may be the next Bobby Bowden down there. Obviously, Fisher wasn't, and whoever they slid in there between Fisher and Norville, was it Willie somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Willie. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but he didn't make the cut either. But Norvell's done a good job. So I slot
Calhoun? Willie Calhoun?
No, it wasn't Calhoun. He slot the Seminoles in at number 2.
Number 2, the Fighting Harbaughs.
The Fighting Jimmies.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know how exactly this works, but if I was born in February and I was only basing this off of what I've seen this year, but I wasn't. I was born long before then. I'll say number 2 is Michigan as well.
All right. ATI.
I'm gonna put Georgia at 2.
All right. And obviously, I've got the Wolverines at number 1 just because they've beat the crap out of everybody they play.
They have.
And that's all they ask you to do is beat the team you lined up against you, and they beat them by a lot. So Michigan's my number 1. I don't think they'll stay there, but as of right now,
Why don't you think they'll stay there? Are they going to beat Ohio State?
I think they are going to beat Ohio State.
Are they going to beat Ohio State in the rematch?
I don't know. That would be a good game.
Could they go back to back?
They play that on a
No.
neutral field.
Because that wouldn't happen until next year. There's a single,
Yes.
Right.
single
Yes, it's
division.
still 2 divisions
Correct.
this year.
Yeah. All right. So I get Michigan number 1. I guess that means you got Georgia at 1.
Yeah, we had this conversation before the week before the season even started, and I said, let me see somebody beat Georgia. Until somebody does, they're number 1.
All right. ATI, and who do you have at 1?
I have the Cheaters.
The Wolverines.
And like I said, if I was born in February and I'd never watched the sport before and didn't know anything, I might have Michigan 1. Unfortunately for Captain Khaki and all of his cheating, I've watched them get hammered by the best of the best in these last couple of years. They're going to have to do something more than that before I can put them ahead of somebody like Georgia.
All right. Let's move on to Express Lube. It's time to move to Express Lube oil change.
I'm getting ready to go there. I got another 450 miles.
Attaboy.
There's a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or a hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep that pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castrol products.
Thank you, Brian Bristow, for being a sponsor of 3 Guys Who Love Sports and the Owls Who Live Sports. And we'll be sending business your way within 450 miles.
Woo, woo.
So how long does it take you for 450 miles? About a week?
Yeah, probably.
All
But
right.
I'm probably 2 weeks out.
Okay. All right. So we look forward to seeing Brian. I need to go by there, too. They wanted to check mine after 2 months because my oil was unusually low. So see you soon, Brian. Again, thanks. Move on to the NFL, and we spent a lot of time on college, so we kind of breeze through this. How do you build an NFL team?
You build an NFL team by benching Jimmy G and starting AOC.
I'm in a real NFL team.
For those who don't understand, there's a backup quarterback who went to Purdue, and everybody's excited, including me, because I have a fantasy guy who could benefit from that.
There you go. But, most people, I did a lot of looking at this week. Most people start with a quarterback and build your team around the quarterback. But I think the Falcons have done the exact opposite. They went out and drafted every position they need and said it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is.
There's a few different schools of thought when it comes to building a team, and nobody has ever done it the way the Falcons have. No, there's never been a 3 straight years where a top 10 pick was used on a wide receiver, a running back, and a tight end. So, I personally believe you start at the line. And I've always said this, and to any of my old friends, Jeremy or John or anybody else who I've been touting this for 35 years, put me on a team and give me 3 years. All I'm taking is linemen. I want linemen, followed by more linemen, couple linebackers, maybe a safety here and there. But then the next year, I'm doing the same thing. Because if you watch what wins on February 4th or whatever the Super Bowl gets played on, it's the people who own the line of scrimmage. And currently, the teams that own both lines of the scrimmage are the ones that play longer than everybody else.
And you have to have a serviceable, maybe a little bit better quarterback.
Well, if you ask anybody on ESPN, they all say the most important person on the football team is the quarterback. So you disagree with that?
No, he is the most important, but that's not how you build a
ask
team.
Andy Reid.
You build a team by giving yourself so many big uglies that you can take that one guy and go, that's a team now. I always go back to the Fran Tarkenton trade. For those who don't remember, Fran Tarkenton went to Georgia, was drafted by
The Giants.
incorrect. Drafted
Minnesota?
Correct. He was drafted by Minnesota. And then, you know what he did? They traded him to the Giants. And they traded him for all these draft picks. And those draft picks ended up being 3 Hall of Famers and everything else. He went to New York.
Alan Page.
And
Carl Eller.
Foreman and everybody else. And
he goes back to
he went to the Giants. He got his butt kicked. And he went back. And all of a sudden, that was a team waiting on a quarterback.
Most people remember him just getting demolished.
Oh, he
with
was.
the Giants.
So
He
is that what the Falcons are? A team waiting on a quarterback?
No, because we still don't have the line of scrimmage because we went out and picked running backs, tight ends,
Who
and
would
wide receivers.
you say is maybe the top 2 coaches in the NFL? Who would you say are the top?
Reed is definitely.
Definitely one of them.
And Andy Reid, you can
And
watch those.
Belichick. I don't care what is.
Okay,
what's
watch
his
watch
Bill
those
Belichick.
games. Andy Reid puts all his trust in Patrick Mahomes. So evidently that quarterback is that's his extension on the field.
Who's the coolest coach in the NFL?
Don't say the guy in Miami.
Oh, he absolutely is.
He
Mike
is,
McDaniel.
he is so freaking cool. I got a buddy who sends me a picture of him like every Sunday morning. You see him, he's walking out on the field. He's, hey, what up?
What about Pete Carroll?
You know, Pete's one of those guys who
The
makes
players
I like
love
Robert
playing for
Salah.
him.
I like Pete.
Okay.
I like Pete, but Pete is an old guy who's trying to make you think that he's not an old guy and I'm still cool. Not the case.
No,
for
Mike
this guy,
McDaniels is.
he's the coolest guy in the league. I mean, you take all of the CeeDee Lambs of the world who think they're diva, they are not as cool.
And 5
as
years
him.
ago, it would have been Sean Payton, and look how far he's fallen.
He was never that cool though. He was an egotistical maniac,
Yeah.
and he still is. It's just not a good team.
All right. So Arthur Smith announced today that we are the Fighting Heinekes, and we will be starting Taylor Heineke.
I've been saying it all year.
So is
Start
this guy.
Taylor Heineke.
So we will see. But are the Falcons now in the quarterback business? If Michael Penix is available next year, will the Falcons straight up and get him?
As Rick and I were discussing beforehand, when you say Taylor is your quarterback, in my mind's eye, that says we don't have a quarterback.
What he said was Taylor Heineke is our quarterback this week.
Correct.
And that's all he
you
committed to.
We'll find out how he plays, and then I'll tell you if I'd like him as my backup.
Yeah.
But I don't want either one of these guys as my starter.
But he had a good second half.
He did.
And the Falcons
He's a
would
good
still
back-
been
he's a good
driving if
backup.
they could. If who was it? The new Van Morrison? Not Van Morrison. He was
That brown-eyed guy?
That brown-eyed guy. What's his name? Wide receiver,
Jefferson.
Van Jefferson.
If he had caught that pass right in his hands, the Falcons could have gone down and driven and won.
But it's not as easy. When we've wanted him to go in. We wanted this. It's not easy at halftime. To go. Oh, by the way, you're in. That's.
I think that's
well.
Taylor Heineke's strength is he's a good backup.
There's no
He is.
pressure on him now. Zero pressure.
He can
on
play
him.
a half a game as good as he can. You put him in for a full game for the long run,
And we'll see
you're
what
asking
happens.
for trouble.
Well, when Ritter fumbled that ball when he was running to try to pick up first in, I said, "That's it."
Are you talking about the 7th fumble or the 19th fumble on
Yes,
the season?
one of those.
I can't.
yeah.
I can't keep it.
The last one.
Whichever ones the Titans recovered and Will Levis threw a touchdown on.
Yeah. How embarrassing is that?
Well, I mean, our quarterback our cornerback got mugged on the play.
He
on the first
absolutely
one,
got mugged.
That was
He
worse than
absolutely
non-call.
got mugged.
He's sending me this text message. ATI's like, "Your boy just got worked." Clearly, it was a pass interference, but he still got worked. I'm like, well, you can't get worked while you're cheating.
Will Levis looked like Dan Marino.
Will
did.
Levis
More touchdowns.
Will Levis threw more touchdowns this week than Ryan Tannehill has thrown all year.
How many does?
How many times have they played the Falcons?
0.
There you go.
Well, but so how many touchdowns does Ritter have on the year throwing? I mean,
I don't know,
he
but
probably matched Ritter's record
Tannehill
for the season.
has thrown 2 touchdowns all year, and Will Levis threw 4 against the Falcons.
It was a perfect scenario when Tannehill came there because he had the number 1 running back in all of football, and he had
All he
AJ
had to do was hand the ball off.
And when he didn't, A.J. Brown was wide open. It's not that way in Tennessee anymore.
I hate A.J. Brown, by the way. He scored like 80 fantasy points against me this week.
He is a mother when
You
it
know,
comes
every
to
time I saw, I just saw Larry's wry smile going. I was up 15-12 on Larry. I said, it's going to be a close game. And next thing you know, it's 100-50. Larry wore us out. So the block party did not invite me to the party at all. So
No, it's kind of crazy how a guy who's having a block party isn't inviting anybody else.
I know, that's crazy.
All
Nuts.
about-
He's
The
inviting
bionic
you for a whipping.
Yeah,
is what-
he's inviting everybody behind the shed.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't want the four position for the playoffs.
Adam, you're this week.
Oh, you got Adam
Oh,
this week?
good.
Adam, don't even put it in the
I
roster,
can't
buddy.
wait. So excited to get my butt kicked for
All
the
right, so speaking-
7th week in a row.
Let me just say this on this fantasy week. I started out 3-0, owning my own division, feeling pretty good about being the returning champion and starting out 3-0. Holy moly, I am a garbage fire. I am 1-4 in the last 5 games.
I'm gonna start Aiden O'Connell just for the jokes. I'm not gonna win this week.
Who you ready to trade?
I'm ready to trade anything and everything because
Who do you want for
it's clearly not working. You want Tua?
Purdy?
Everybody wants Tua.
I don't want Tua.
You should.
Nah.
He's a man.
He's a fantasy
Mahomes had
machine.
his wreck this week. He had the flu. He'll be all right. All right. Speaking of A.J. Brown, is Philly the cream of the crop now in the NFL?
This week, probably.
Yeah. It's just crazy how much
They have the Cowboys
the
coming up.
rank the Sunday night. Is it Sunday or at 4:00? I think Sunday at 4 is the game of the
that
week.
game excites you a little
Yeah,
bit?
it does.
Okay.
It really does. Yeah. Dallas at Philadelphia. I think Philly's laying 3. Is that right, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah. So pretty good ball games. We'll get to them this weekend. But I mean, what happened to the Niners? Now losers of 3 in a row, and the Chiefs, they just laid an egg in Denver. I mean, I know. I was calling Al, my co-coach on a fantasy team. I said, he's got the flu. Should we start Purdy? Should we start
he looked
Purdy?
ill.
He did. And we said no, because if he throws a pass to Kelsey, it'll balance everything out, and that'll help us. I said, oh, that's good. Larry's got Kelsey. So we'll leave him in there. Big mistake. Of course, Purdy didn't do much better. But
No.
but this week I have no McCaffrey. I have
But
no.
you know, as good as the Niners looked when everybody was ready to just go ahead and send them to Pasadena or wherever the heck the Super Bowl is, McCaffrey hurt his oblique. Purdy's been a little dinged up. Debo's left for a couple games. So, they've had their little war of attrition with a few injuries. I'm not expecting this team, this team isn't getting ready to be, wow, they're 5-7. What if,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
So still a good team.
Absolutely. Jacksonville's 6-2.
I like what they're doing.
I do too.
And that was I want to say it was a 2-2 team.
They were.
That's
Very
looking
well
pretty good.
coached.
Yeah, not the coolest coach, but maybe a good coach. Yeah,
I'll take good over
that's
cool.
Peterson,
I'll
right?
take both of
Yeah,
those.
I'll take good over cool.
Yeah, any day. All right. So, wow, a lot of going on in the NFL this week. We'll talk a little bit about the Falcons and the Vikings here, but can't go on. And I know Rick says it's no big deal, but Travis Bell, who we've interviewed on this show.
Well, it's a big deal for a school like Kennesaw State.
We have now interviewed a NFL player that is on a 53-man roster, which is kind of cool.
On the home team's roster,
On the home
baby.
team's roster, he is
That's
a
pretty
Falcon.
cool.
It wouldn't surprise me if Will Renfro walked in there tonight with an Atlanta
I would not be surprised either.
or
I would
Atlanta
not be
Travis
surprised.
Bell jersey on. That would be pretty cool. So very excited for Travis. I know you're probably listening now that you're back in Atlanta. So happy to have you back home on the home team, man. I know it's very cool for your family being close to here. And
I think he's got his face in a playbook, I think, right now.
does he?
Probably.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see
Hopefully
you.
they're keeping it nice and easy for him.
Yeah.
One gap, 2 gap.
Can't wait to see you Sunday on the field, buddy. Let's get into our next commercial with American Access.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, bachelor, bachelorette party, or something new to do when you have guests in from out of town, American Access, with their 3 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, and now in downtown at the Works, they've got your answer to let's do something different. Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
Thank you, Dan Fisher and American Access, for being the sponsors of our pick segment during this football season. And we have arrived. There are some pretty good ball games this weekend. Wasn't hard to find the good ball games this week.
No, sir.
No. So we'll start with.
You didn't pick Michigan, who's 32.5-point favorites over Purdue.
No, I said I picked good ball games. Yeah, that would be.
And just for the record, should we take the 32 points? Should we be up 32-0, or would you go ahead and lay those 32?
I would give it to Michigan.
I would
Yeah,
lay the
we're
points, too.
bad. Our offense is bad. Our defense is bad.
We'll call that keen insight into pick number 9 of the
There you go.
the week.
All right. So all the talk all week about Florida, they might come within the spread, blah, 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 and talking about Florida's turning the corner and blah, blah, blah. Georgia obliterated them. And I called it last week, didn't I? I did take the dogs laying the
Yes.
points. But nobody's giving Missouri any love. Their spread's bigger than what the Gators was. It's 15.5. But everybody's saying how good Missouri is. They've only got 1 loss.
But you get so many idiots out there like myself who go, well, Florida has everything. Even if they're not playing at this high level, it's still 5-star, 5-star, 5-star to where every position is faster, stronger, and everything else. Missouri, you look at them and you're like, they're playing really good.
Their
but,
kicker's fat.
got a fat kicker.
Yeah, you get a big old kick. He's the one that kicked it like a 65-yarder
Yes.
or something earlier in the
Yes.
year. 70-yarder, pretty long.
It was long.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, that's like a little college ball, so that's not quite the same.
Yeah, not quite the same. So they visit the Hedges in Athens this weekend, and like we said earlier, Georgia's got 4 games ahead of them, and 3 of them are pretty tough. They got, or they got 5 games still left, right? Because they have Missouri, Ole Miss,
Tennessee, Georgia Tech,
Georgia
the
Tech,
SEC championship.
and the SEC championship. Yeah. So
I'll say this for Georgia right now when I make my pick. They always have problems with Missouri.
Yeah.
Ever since Missouri joined the SEC, this has always been a game where, even when they're not good, they show up.
they almost beat them at home a couple of years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, I mean,
No, that was at Missouri. I'm talking about at Georgia.
a couple years ago, right? But I mean, every year it seems like no matter whether you think they're coming or they're not coming, it's a really good game. I'm going to give the 15.5 points because I just said that, but that's pretty much wishful thinking.
All right. ATI, how about you?
I'll pick Georgia.
All right. Rick?
I would give 15.5 plus that. I think Georgia now, they have more talent.
They do.
They're getting maybe a little healthier. It's about Kirby having these guys focused for the stretch run and putting some whippings on some people.
Carson Beck's getting better.
He's getting better
game,
every week.
Every week,
Every
which I
week.
hate to admit. But I am going to get, I don't know if you know or not, I picked the loser. So I'm going to give the axe to the dogs, and I say Missouri will come within the 15.5. Might be wrong. Was right last week. I knew they'd obliterate Florida, but I think Missouri and their fat kicker can stay within 15.5.
So you don't think there's a chance Missouri wins? You think they just hang out and possibly get that backdoor
Maybe
cover?
14.
So if the kickers,
backdoor
if the
cover.
2 kickers have a wrestling match at the
Is it Indian leg
midfield-
wrestling?
Missouri will win.
But is it Indian leg wrestling? Have you ever watched Indian
Oh,
leg
yeah, that's
wrestling?
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
I used to
is-
Indian leg wrestle all the time. Lay on your back and
My-
you wrestle with your legs, right?
My dad is
That's
the
a different
all-time
sport.
Indian leg wrestling champion. Yeah, that's different. John.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No. Okay. All right. So we move on to game number 2. LSU +3 at Bama. We didn't talk much about Bama. I think ATI had him at number 6 in his rock, but
No, I had him.
That was me.
I
was
had
that
him.
you?
I had him at 7.
somebody had him at 6. So do they have a shot to get into the playoffs? Not if they
Yes.
lose to LSU.
No, they have to win this game. Any one-loss team at this point has to win. The only way a one-loss team's getting in, because there could be still a lot of losses to happen, but a lot of those losses might happen in the championship games. This team can't afford that, and I don't think they're going to need to. I think Bama's just going to keep bumping up, and then these 2 teams will play. They'll go above the loser. I'll take Bama, and I think Bama wins by double digits.
Do you?
Yep.
All right. Adam?
LSU's offense is really good. You know, Jaden Daniels is he's in the Heisman talk. One of the best
He's in the
quarterbacks. He one of the best quarterbacks in the FBS. Their offense can put up a lot of points, but Alabama has a good defense. Jaden Milroe has been he's been serviceable the last couple weeks. So I'll take Alabama.
He's getting better every. We said it about Georgia's quarterback. He's getting better every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of draftable talent on the field in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a few scouts, maybe about 32 of them at the game.
Yeah.
But I think Alabama seems to win these games. Not as impressed with LSU, especially their coaching. Overall, Bama by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I won't be the lone wolf on this one. I'm going give the axe to the Tigers of LSU. Tide rolls. I think their defense is what's getting better every week. Milroe's maybe progressing a little bit, but their defense gets stronger every week. And I saw an interview with Pat McAfee and Coach Saban on the McAfee show.
Did he have a tank top on?
He
or?
always does.
Yeah.
I wish he'd put on a shirt. I'd like to send him a shirt and say, would you wear this? Nobody cares about your muscles but you. I can't stand McAfee. But really good interview with Saban. Saban
Yeah,
really
that was a good one.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
But
He's paid to do those interviews, just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But as Rick said, something about LSU. Every time I run into somebody who is an LSU fan, they hate the coach. I would have thought that this was like their dream. They finally got somebody who speaks something other than
Go Tigers.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody can understand them, which might actually get them a quarterback at one of these points. All these people are like, I talked to Coach Henry, Chef Henry today at Henry's in Hackworth.
Did you have the ooh la la? Or
I did not. I went with the Bayou cake.
Well,
but I said something to him, and he was like, just get him out of my state. Get him out of my state. I mean, people don't like him.
He's not a homegrown product.
And I could see where
Trying to be one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Did we get everybody's picks on that, Larry?
We did.
Okay. Washington -3.5 at Southern Cal.
Washington's look like a garbage fire. I'll take the defending Heisman Trophy winner to put up a lot of points at home, and he's already leading by a field goal and a half. So yeah, I'll take USC at home.
Rick?
Huskies.
Adam,
Huskies are playing for something, so that's worth something.
Washington hasn't looked great the last couple weeks, and USC they're okay. They haven't. Their offense has struggled a little bit. Their defense sucks, and Michael Penix can put up a ton of points. So give me the Huskies.
I could tell he was pulling a Corso when he was like,
They are going to put up a ton of points, but so is Southern Cal. I think this is going to be a knockdown 45, 48 game or something like that.
A good old Big 12 game.
Good old Big 12 game, Pac-12 game.
Pac-12.
Well, it's the Big 12 doesn't play any defense.
Yeah, but I'm very much in agreement with Robert. I'm going to give the axe to the Washington Huskies. I think USC will slide in and win or lose by a field goal. So that's my pick on that game. Kansas State +4 against the Longhorns. This is a tough game. Kansas State's been playing really well.
and Texas
And no
is
Quentin
not.
Ewers. Yeah.
Is it Murphy that's starting this week
Murphy's
again?
starting again. Yeah.
I didn't watch their game last week, but I haven't watched Kansas State at all this year. So I'm just gonna go with Texas and hope they play Archie Manning.
All right. Robert?
Old Archie Manning or young Archie Manning?
I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching this in Austin, we'd like to see Arch this weekend.
He said Archie.
I know.
Archie seemed different.
Archie is a comic book. Arch,
From Riverdale.
Yeah.
We'd like to see Arch Manning this week.
I'd like
Pretty
to see
please.
Veronica.
Boy, Texas has just looked awful. When Texas was here and Kansas, and slowly they've been
I like
moving.
Texas to rebound this week. I think
I don't think K-State's is that good.
they're not. They're one of those
They're
scrappy
Absolutely.
Big 12 teams.
I'll take Texas as
They
well.
beat somebody really bad last week. Kansas State slaughtered somebody.
Well, Texas beat BYU last week 35-6.
Yeah. Yeah. I am going to take Texas with the axe. I'm going to take the 4.5. or the 4 points from Kansas. Again, a close game, but I think Kansas State will keep it close. Give me the Wildcats, right? Kansas State Wildcats?
Yep.
All right, cool. All
From
right.
Manhattan,
The Little Apple.
the Little Apple.
All right, so let's move on to the pros. We got 5 minutes to breeze through these. The first game ever played in Germany, Sunday at 9:30 in the
Nope, they
morning.
played in Germany last year.
I don't think so.
Seahawks,
This is the
Seahawks,
first
Tampa
time
Bay.
at this stadium,
This is
but
the-
they
This
played.
stadium.
They
in
played in Berlin last year. It was Seahawks, Tampa Bay, because Tom Brady fell down and then he tripped the cornerback, and they threw a flag for tripping, which I've almost never seen anywhere else.
Okay, so should be a good game. The Dolphins and the Chiefs. Who's the
Valdez
real
Scantling
team?
doesn't want to go. Did you hear that?
Who
Valdez Scantling?
doesn't want to go to Germany?
No, you think it's this freaking road trip to Germany? Are you freaking kidding me? I used to complain about Cleveland. Now you're sending me all the way to Dusseldorf. It's
Frankfurt.
It's not a good sign when the only wide receiver that anybody recognizes on your team is already whining before you get on the plane. I'll take the cool coach in another continent.
All right. Rick?
I'll take the Chiefs to rebound. Mahomes is my fantasy. I'm in one fantasy league, and he's my quarterback, and he had a.
He's
crappy
mine
week.
too.
A crappy
He's
week last week.
He's mine in one as well.
I expect him to feel better and rebound, and the Chiefs to workmanlike beat Miami somehow. Usually the grass is the fields are a little slower there.
Yeah. ATI, how about
I
you?
think that helps the Chiefs.
No grass can slow down that Dolphins offense.
There's some grass that'll slow it down.
Tyreek Hill is fast. Devon A-Chain is fast. Raheem Mostert is fast.
A-Chain's still not
A-Chain's
playing.
not playing, but
Well, yes, I know, but he'll be back. He'll be back next week, I
and
think.
Tyreek Hill plays fast on all sorts of grass. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever he's smoking.
I'm gonna take Miami.
ATI takes Miami. I'm going to give Miami the axe because I'm along with Rick. I think
You're doing this for your fantasy team, though.
No, I really
Okay,
not.
okay.
I think a
He
flueless
was doing that
Mahomes.
axe at you there.
A flueless Mahomes is better than a flu Mahomes, and he won't have 2 bad games in a row. Give me the Chiefs to win, and the axe goes to the fish.
Is Taylor Swift going to Germany?
She didn't go to Denver.
How about that? Did you see at the end of the game?
Yeah, the Denver
They
played Taylor Swift.
They played "Shake It Off" as everybody's.
Did they really? I didn't see that.
Absolutely, have some fun with it.
Wow. All right, 3 more games to go. Seattle plus 5.5 at Baltimore. Seattle's playing pretty good football, but Lamar's hot. He may be the leading candidate for the MVP right now.
He's way up there. That's for darn certain.
Yeah. I'll go first on this one. I think Baltimore lays it to Seattle. Seattle gets the axe. Baltimore minus the 5.5.
I like this game actually. I'm interested in this game, and I think Baltimore wins by a touchdown or more. Even though I do like Seattle's a fun team and interesting team to watch.
They are. Kenneth Walker Jr., another long touchdown run this weekend that sealed my fate. Thank you, Larry.
And I thought Charbonnet would be a really good number 2 running back this year, and he hasn't been because Kenneth Walker hasn't led him near the field. And I'm going to take Seattle because of Kenneth Walker. I think, and this is a little bit of spilled milk and all that stuff, Baltimore doesn't have a good running back. And because of that, sooner or later, they're going to get in one of these games where they do not have that stud like J.K.
They went out and got Leonard Fournette.
They have Gus Edwards.
I said good, and
He put up 30 points last week.
It's not impossible to run when you're worried about Lamar running. It's a perfect storm if you're going to be a mid-range running back. But I see Seattle taking them big time.
Yep, I'll take Baltimore. ATI.
I say it every week. Lamar Jackson is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. I pick Baltimore every time we play Baltimore, so give me Baltimore.
I even think I'm going to go out on a limb and say not only does the running back score, Smith-Njigba will also
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
he will also find pay dirt in the end zone in Germany.
All right.
Oh, he's not going to Germany. But if he was, he'd be in Dusseldorf.
All right.
Which is not even where the game's being played.
All right.
Right, it's way downtown.
All right, so we've got another, probably the biggest game of the weekend is Dallas at Philadelphia.
Can I ask for ATI's breakdown of this first before we pick?
Yeah.
Well, I hate the Eagles.
We knew that.
They traded for Kevin Byard to bolster their slim secondary that was just C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's a mediocre corner at best. They've got a really good D-line, though, which I'm scared of. But our O-line's been looking well. We were able to win last week without Tony Pollard carrying the ball a ton, which was bad for me, but we won. So I'm going to go with Dallas in a all
There's a
too
shocker.
surprising pick.
Yeah. Very surprising pick. Rick, how about you?
Let's. It's close. This one. Let's go with Philly being at home.
Boo.
Jalen Hurts maybe.
Dallas on the road has not played well
No.
on the road, other than the L.A. game.
Literally just. Oh no, that the Rams game was at home.
Yeah. Against the Chargers, they played pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, but not against the Rams. That was home. So I'm going to have to give the 3 points for Philadelphia and give the axe to the Cowboys.
I'm going a little off a script here. I just started thinking about it, and I think this is a split for the regular season, and I'm going with the road teams. So give me the boys, but if you put it on the schedule, I'll go ahead and take the Eagles when they play at Dallas later in the season. But I will take the boys.
All right, so 2-2 on that one. And the last game, obviously, our Falcons with the newly acquired Travis Bell. Surely that's going to make a difference. We're facing our second rookie quarterback in a week.
Josh Dobbs is not a rookie quarterback.
Josh Dobbs is not starting.
Josh Dobbs is starting.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
They just traded for him?
They traded
Right.
for him, but he
But
doesn't know the
he's the
playbook.
backup. He's
Jalen
the
Hall
backup.
or somebody.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, who is it?
Yeah.
His name was Henley.
No, that's Don Henley with the Eagles.
Russell Henley's a PGA golfer.
No, he is not starting. They
I don't
announced
think he
today.
was even in. He was even in Minnesota.
would be
yet.
Jay Hall.
Jay Hall.
Or
Yeah.
Jaron Hall or
Jaron
Nick
Hall.
Mullins.
Jaron Hall is a starter. It's already been announced. So, can we beat another one? I don't know. I'm so disillusioned
Can we beat
about
another
this.
one? You mean can another
Can we
one
beat
us?
one? Yeah. Can we
another
beat
one
one?
beat us?
So I'm very disgruntled about my Falcons as much as I love them, and I love it that Travis Bell's now on the 53-man squad. But I want to be wrong, but I'm giving the Falcons the axe.
You know, they have no quarterback. Their best player doesn't play there anymore. Their running back, their backfield's in shambles. I don't know if it's Madsen, if it's Akers, what's going on. If
They still won last week.
I understand, but
But they played the Packers.
But if the
Yeah.
if it was anything but everything else, I would definitely take Minnesota. But I think it's a perfect storm. This is when the Falcons could possibly exploit this team. Give me the Coons.
ATI.
I love Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke is a great quarterback. As long as he hands the ball off to Bijan 20 times, I'm great. Give me the Falcons.
All right, Rick.
You said this is the perfect storm. What happened in the movie The Perfect Storm?
That boat went under, brother.
So one of these teams is going under, and I think Minnesota maybe edges. Both teams are similar in problems they're having.
They are, and just for the record, I thought I picked Minnesota the last 2 weeks when they were 2-4. I picked them to get back to this
You
4-4.
you were a
I was
predictor there.
a sympathizer, but yeah, then now they're going back below 500.
All right, so there you got it. We got everybody. You picked Adam. You picked Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay, so Rick picked Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I picked Minnesota. Well, actually, I picked the Falcons, but to lose. And Robert's got the Falcons to win.
Absolutely.
So we've run a little over time today, but what a great show. Always appreciative to Rick for coming on board.
Appreciate you guys.
Rick's our good standby guy, and always bring good conversation to the
I'm
show.
a stand-up guy.
He is.
Well,
He is
not
standing.
tonight. You're sit up. You're sit down guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ATI, I always appreciate your comments. And Larry, the engineer, as always,
Hey, if Larry could just have a couple broken legs on that fantasy team,
the
of his.
the king of fantasy football this year, running away with it all. Everybody else is playing for second place at this point in time. But thank you for joining us here at Miller's Ale House on a Wednesday night. Guys, don't forget to know your numbers, cover your ass, and get your prostate checked. We'll see you next Wednesday here at Miller's.
Aiden O'Connell's starting.